So, Brandon, will you be voting in person or mailing in an absentee ballot for your vote in this presidential election?
I actually won't be voting this year.
Wow. Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to the coronavirus restrictions?
With all the mail-in stuff and whatnot, I mean, even being at work, something as simple as a paycheck sometimes wouldn't show up through the U.S. Postal Service. So I don't really have a lot of faith in the Postal Service. So even if I was voting, I wouldn't use a mail-in ballot. So hopefully the people that do use a mail-in ballot, hopefully those votes are counted in a way. But no, I don't think so. No.
Trump or Biden? Who is best to fit to run the country at this time?
Donald Trump.
Did you tune into the first presidential debates? And did it change your view on a particular candidate?
I did tune in, and of course not.
Are you worried your vote won't count? But you aren't voting.
Yeah, so no comment.
Michael, will you be voting in person or submitting an absentee ballot for this election?
I'll be voting in person because I believe if you mail it, there's more of a high chance of your vote being lost.
Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to coronavirus restrictions?
Yes, because they would have to up more of like when your person's voting, they have to do more because there's a virus also, so it'll be tougher also.
Between Trump or Biden, who's best to fit to run the country at this time?
Trump.
Did you turn into the presidential debates? And if so, did it change your view on a particular candidate?
No, it did not. It just, what I've seen was, it just was really sad with everything.
Are you worried your vote won't count during this election?
No, not really.
So Dave, will you be voting in person or mailing in an absentee ballot for this election?
So for me personally, I'm going to vote in person just because I know that a lot of times absentee ballots can get lost in mail or they don't fully count. So I want to physically go in and vote for myself.
That's awesome. Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to the coronavirus restriction?
I believe they should be. Like I said, nothing wrong with absentee voting, but we do have to be mindful of individuals, beliefs and their requests that they want to physically vote and not due to the pandemic. So either or is fine with me, but for me, I'd rather just go and physically vote. So
You're right. Between Trump or Biden, who's best fit to run the country?
For me personally, I'm going to select Biden only because he just seems to be a more, in my opinion, more respectable candidate. Seems to, be very upfront with things. No disrespect to Mr. Trump, but throughout the past years, I kind of noticed his behavior in terms of, how he addressed situations, how he handles incidents that are relating to the COVID-19, and how he wasn't really on top of that. So much respect to him, but for me personally, I'd rather pick Joe Biden just because I believe has a best interest in terms of what's going to go for our country in the next 4 years. So.
Did you tune into the first presidential debates, and did it change your view on any candidates?
So honestly, I saw a part of the debate on my phone. I was doing homework and I tuned in. Like I said, I'm not really too big into politics, because there's some people's opinions, but at the end of the day, for me, I did tune into the election and just to kind of hear what was going on, and some of it was funny and some of it was kind of like childish in terms of just Trump always wanted to speak over, going beyond the time, and then kind of like a shouting and debate match between the two. So it didn't really seem as professional, but then again, it's a debate, so you're gonna expect combativeness and confrontation between each other. So, but with that, I did watch it.
That's awesome.
For whoever was there. So,
are you worried your vote won't count in this election, though?
Not really. Like I said, for me being who I am, you know, African American man, we do have a history of time where we couldn't vote. Looking at so many years later now, we have the privilege and right to vote. So I do think it's your have your duty and obligation to vote and to give your opinion and to kind of speak your mind, especially during these times where, you know, we're just seeing so much happening between political incidents between the police and the minority community. I hate calling it minority, but between the African American community. So I do want to step forward and kind of speak my mind and give my opinion and my vote. So I believe my vote would count.
Tracy, will you be voting in person or submitting an absentee ballot for this election?
In person.
Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to coronavirus restrictions?
Yes, I hope so.
Between Trump or Biden, who do you think is best fit to run the country at this time?
Trump.
Did you tune into the first presidential debates? And if so, did it change your view on a particular candidate?
Yes and no, I've always been a Trump supporter.
You believe your vote will count?
I'm hoping so.
So, Robert, will you be voting in person or mailing an absentee ballot for this presidential election?
I'm going to vote in person.
Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to coronavirus restrictions?
I sure hope so.
Between Trump or Biden, who's best to fit to run the country at this time?
Trump.
Did you tune into the first presidential debates? And did it change your view on a particular candidate?
Yes, I did, and no, it didn't.
Are you worried your vote won't count?
That does concern me, yes.
So, John, will you be voting in person or submitting an absentee ballot for this election?
I'll be voting in person.
Do you believe each vote will be counted correctly due to coronavirus restrictions?
Yes.
Between Trump or Biden, who's best to fit to run the country at this time?
I believe Trump is.
Did you turn into the first presidential debate, and did it change your view on a particular candidate?
I watched the debate, and it didn't change my view. I had the same view of Trump. I did have a view against the moderator, though. Yes.
Are you worried your vote won't count in this election?
Only because I live in New York, so my vote will count. My local votes will count.